Test, test.
Okay, here I am.
You keep like disappearing and then coming back.
Sorry, that was weird. I joined it, but I was like the only person, so maybe I was too early.
Well, now we'll just hope that our applicant joins.
Yeah.
He's in attendees, right? Henry Groves?
Oh yeah, is he there?
He's there.
Oh, yep, I see him.
We'll allow him to talk.
Yeah, when there will be a spot in the agenda. Yeah, that's fine. That works.
Okay.
I'm here if you can hear me.
Hey Henry, we can hear you. Yeah, thanks for joining. We haven't
Yeah.
done one totally on Zoom for a while, so we're just making sure everything works out.
No worries. I don't think it's letting me join with video or anything, so I don't know if you want me to try to do that or not.
No,
that's okay.
You're good. As long as we can hear you, if we have any questions for you, I think we'll be just fine.
Perfect.
You guys let us know when you're ready to start recording. We are live on YouTube as well.
Okay, yeah, we can start. So let me know when we're good and I will begin.
Okay, give us just a second. Okay, all right, I think we're good to go.
Okay, thank you. We will convene the administrative hearing for March 1st, 2023. We'll just proceed down the agenda. I'll introduce myself. I'm Mike Johnson. I'm the Community and Economic Development Director for the city. I'm also the Administrative Hearing Officer. We have a number of city staff on the call as well, and then the applicant. I don't know that I see any other public in attendance, but this is a public meeting. We'll go ahead and proceed down the business items in the agenda. There's only one today, and that is a proposal for a conditional use permit to operate a short-term rental at 8145 South Clover Spring Lane. We'll proceed with that item first. The order that will proceed is a staff overview provided by Ian Harris, the associate planner for the city. We'll give time to the applicant to add any clarification or share any comments if that's desired. And then we will open it to public comment if there is any and deliberate from there. So let's go ahead and turn it over to Ian and go ahead with that staff presentation.
Thanks, Mike. I'll try and share my screen right now. Okay, can you see the presentation?
Yep, we're seeing your screen.
Great. Okay. Okay, let's see. Oh, I'm at the end of the presentation. Okay, so this application is a conditional use permit application for a short-term rental. The applicants as well as the owners for the unit are Henry and Jamie Groves. I think Henry's on the call right now, so that's great. The location of this unit is 8145 Clover Spring Lane. It's in the Oaks at Wasatch Place plan unit development, right off of Wasatch Boulevard. And then our recommendation is approved with conditions, and I'll kind of go through my analysis and then we'll talk about the conditions. So in order to be approved for a short-term rental, a unit has to meet a few different criteria. Pretty much these four things here. The unit is located in a multifamily zone. It's an R28 zone. It's in a plan unit development, like I said, called the Oaks at Wasatch Place A. This specific Oaks at Wasatch Place A contains 51 units. I think there's a part B to this plan unit development that might be included in like the whole HOA. So there might be more units in total, but in this specific subdivision or PUD, there's 51 units. And this unit fronts on a private street. So all these things are criteria that the unit meets for approval for a short-term rental. We did receive one public comment. I think you saw it, Mike. So, feel free to include that in your analysis of the application or your decision. But we just received that one public comment in an email form, and it was, I think, saved to the file for this meeting. So as outlined in the staff report, we found this request to meet the standards for a short-term rental as outlined in city code. We recommend approval of the project with conditions, and I'm going to go through those now just kind of briefly. The first one is that the applicant needs to obtain a business license. I think we've received a business license application, but we need a record of approval from this meeting before that application can be processed. The short-term rental isn't considered legal until that license is obtained. So after this meeting, if this application is approved, we'll work with the applicant to obtain that license. The short-term rental is also required to maintain compliance with Chapter 1989 of City Code, which goes over short-term rentals, and Chapter 5.85 of City Code as well. The occupancy of the short-term rental can't exceed the lesser of up to 2 adults and 2 children per bedroom, or the total occupancy of no more than 12. I think in the case of this unit where there's 4 bedrooms and 3.5 bathrooms, that would mean no more than 12 people in the entire property. In the narrative for the project, the applicant stated they don't intend to allow any more than 14, but they anticipate a lot less than that typically. So I just want to make sure we note that the limit is actually 12. I don't imagine that they'd run into an issue with that, but that's the limit as outlined in city code. The short-term rental property can't have any more than 4 bedrooms. They have 4 bedrooms, so they meet that criteria. And then once they get a business license and conditional use permit, they need to display a copy of the business license inside the main entry, whether that's framed or in a window. Just it needs to be on display. And then the last condition is just that it needs to apply with all applicable laws, rules, regulations, including those instituted by the state, county health department, or the city to mitigate the impact of COVID-19. Yeah. So here are a few model motions for approval based on the findings and the information outlined in the staff report and the condition of approval, and then a denial based on findings for the denial if there are any. That's the presentation that I have. If there's any questions, great. Otherwise, I'll just turn it over to you, Mike.
Thank you, appreciate it. We'll just clarify, I've reviewed the public comment. It was a general comment in regards to repeat violations from licensed short-term rentals. I'll just, again, for the record, clarify, there is a provision in the short-term rental code in 19.89 that gives guidance to the city for increased penalties upon repeat violations of the short-term rental regulations, and that can result in revocation of the business license. if that continues for too long. So I did want to address that public comment we received. I'll turn some time over to the applicant, Mr. Groves. If you'd like to add anything, you're welcome to do so. This would be the time to do that.
Yeah, my name's Henry Groves. I'm from Boise, Idaho area, and my wife and I, we bought this townhouse with the idea of using it personally because we both love skiing and snowboarding, and also just renting it out short term. We are hiring a professional management company, iTrip, and so they will make sure that everything is done correctly and will follow all the guidelines Cottonwood Heights has in place. I also have just noticed from visiting ever since we closed on the house that a lot of the ones in close proximity appear to be short-term rentals, and there's not any issues that I've noticed at all. Everyone that uses it short-term is very respectful, and I think it's a good place to allow it.
Okay, appreciate that. Thank you. I don't see any additional members of the public in attendance, so I will both open and close the public hearing for this item, and we'll move right into deliberation. Oaks-Wasatch is one of the limited areas in the city where short-term rentals are permitted with this conditional use process. There's quite a few regulations in the city ordinance as it relates to short-term rentals, which have been laid out in the staff report here. So compliance with those helps me feel comfortable knowing this will comply with all those standards, and it is in a location where these are allowed. So I will move right into making a motion to approve this project. So I'm going to approve project CUP 23001 based on the recommended findings for approval, as well as the conditions of approval recommended in the staff report for today's meeting. So with that, the conditional use portion of this is approved, and you can work with staff to finish up the business licensing process, but you will have this hurdle cleared, and we wish you luck in getting this up and running.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Henry,
Thanks,
I'll just note that you'll now kind of work with Hope Zitting-Gokritz. She's our business development specialist. So Ian will send Hope the approval letter for this conditional use permit, and then you'll just contact her, work with her directly on the business licensure. So she'll become your new point of contact.
Okay, perfect. Should I reach out to her or wait for her to reach out to me?
I think she'll reach out to you. Ian noted correctly that we have your business license application on file. So I know you've already started the process. So I think once we send her the approval letter, she'll know to reach out to you, and you guys can communicate about next steps.
Okay, and one question I have, I was going to change the ownership with public records of the townhouse to an LLC where me and my wife are the only members. Is there any issue with that?
We can correspond about it offline and work through that. We'll figure it out offline.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Of course.
Okay, well, thank you again. Thank you to staff for preparing this presentation. The only item left is the consent agenda, which is just approval of the minutes for today's meeting. So I'm going to go ahead and approve the minutes for the March 1st, 2023 administrative hearing based on the instructions and the procedure for approval outlined in the agenda for today. And with that, this is short and sweet, but this meeting is adjourned. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you.